They don't have a lot of things to do after school. The middle school also has a pretty good showing, but they have sports and they have student council and yearbook. They have a lot of other offerings. So one of our goals was to try and figure out how to get that in the budget. So we're knocking it down to 2 days a week, but we were able to put that in the budget for next year, so the kids won't be losing that. We're currently at a 4.27% increase. We were 4.7 at the end of March when we went to Detroit. The new, I'm sure you're all aware, the new paid family leave law, which we have to start deducting in January. We've had to work that. That's a pretty significant impact to the budget. We're going to use 575,000 of our fund balance to try to bring taxes down. We've settled the teacher's contract. We know our insurance rates, which came in pretty good. We won't know our package insurance till the end of May, but by May 6th, the board will have passed. So we hope that we estimated enough for that. All our other fuel costs are locked in. So we feel pretty good about this budget. The budget vote is May 21st in the gym at 6:30. Hope that all of you can come support the budget, and then the referendum is June 11th. The only other thing I would have for you is a new school construction update, but I'll take questions first if you have any.
Anything, council?
Did you say it's June 11th?
June 11th, right? The referendum? Yes, I don't have that one. Yes.
Yeah.
We have to pass it first on May 21st.
Yeah.
At Warsaw,
6:30.
6:30. Perfect, thank you. I'll send her.
Don't you know? Anything else, council?
What are the liabilities, I guess, as far as like, what, if this was gonna go one way or the other, like, what's one of the things you have a hard time controlling? As far as what your costs are year over year, like, there's something in particular this year, you know, this could go the other way and cost a lot more than what we're projecting, or is there nothing really like that?
Well, when we first start, like we project our insurance costs, we get the, what's the low, what's the high, and we usually project high. And each year, the last couple of years, we've come in pretty low, so that's, we've been able to bring it down before we get to you. Fuel costs, we lock in, so. And our salaries are all contracted, yeah, maybe, we have to stay within this budget, so,
Right.
yeah. So new school construction, we are in the process of, we just completed our architect interviews to get the process rolling. We've narrowed it down to 4, and we're going to start doing the reference checks, and hopefully we'll have our architect firm on hand soon to start the process of they have to come in and look at all 3 buildings and decide, are they renovations? Are they one-time fix at this school and rebuild the Manson Park School, but that's why we're on the list? Or is it a complete consolidation of all 3 schools? So that's a process, and I learned quickly, don't say anything I can't walk back. So I'm hoping that we let them, and the 3 towns will have to make that decision. That's where we are with that. And I'll update you as often as I can.
Excellent. Would you be willing to take any questions? Anyone in the audience have any questions for Superintendent Littlefield? Boy, you got out of this pretty easy. Wait till May 21st though.
Okay. Well, I'm leaving. Craig.
Not for me, of
Craig is
course.
staying home that night. Yeah. Well, thank you.
All right,
If anything, once you've had a chance to look that over, if you have any questions, just call,
excellent.
stop by.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, very well. Oh, you all are more than welcome to stay. It's not gonna be that long. Jeez. Okay, hey, wait, I got a question. Come back. No, I'm kidding.
Bye.
All right, let's get back to being professional here. Let's move on to number 6, public hearings. There are none scheduled for this evening, so let's move on to number 7. Jacob, if you would please, town manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, council. Auditors were in the office today to start working on the 2023 audit. We received the draft version of the 2022 audit, and all that we are waiting for is the completion of the single audit portion of the 2022 audit. Some good news that Woody Moore is coming home tomorrow. Members of our community are planning to celebrate his return by lining Somerset Avenue from the credit union to the turn onto Birchwood Terrace with people, posters, and lots of cheering. They will be coming through town around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and our police department will be assisting with that event. We can expect to see our paving contractor in town over the next few weeks as they start to finish up the roads left over from 2023. Along those lines, Donnie, Jerry, and I met last week to discuss the 2024 paving program. And we hope to have an RFP for the council's consideration at your next meeting. I met with our insurance provider last week, and they confirmed that the town will continue to have coverage on the theater when the policy renews in July. Goral Palmer will be at the second council meeting in May to present their initial concepts of the Main Street project. And finally, it's time to be thinking about the 2024 Spirit of America Award. If anyone has any ideas for nominees, feel free to send them my way.
When will you need those in, Jacob?
Sooner the better.
So, okay, that's very
Good to
definitive.
have something on your next.
Okay,
I think there's a list from previous years that we usually review and maybe make suggestions to add to.
We will find that list.
all right, you all set, Jacob? Any comments on department head reports, March expense revenue report? Self-explanatory by the information included. Jacob,
I'm all set.
all set? Okay, sorry.
Congrats.
No, sorry.
Sorry about that. Nope.
No.
There. Information.
You were really concentrating on getting your papers straight. I really didn't want to,
Sorry.
I really didn't want to intrude. I'm sorry. All right, move on. Old business, there are none scheduled for this evening, so let's move on to number 9, new business. And Nicole, if you would, please, resolution 24-44.
Resolution in support of Pittsfield Carbon Sold.
I'll look for a motion of the council, please.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2444.
Sir.
Move in second. Thank you, gentlemen. So before we open up for questions or whatnot, I'd like to invite Mr. Jan Lux to give us a few brief words, kind of flesh out what we're looking at on this.
I promise I'll keep it under.
Okay, let's move on to resolution 20.
Oh, what can I say? But on a serious note, for just a second. See, each one of you has a pen in front of you. Okay, and if you just have a little piece of paper that you can scribble on. I'm gonna give you a word, and after I give you the word, I want you to write the first thing that comes to your mind after I say the word. Got it? And you can do this in the audience. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I sure, right.
And the word is Pittsfield. Okay. That's something. Back to that in a second. A few months ago now, Jacob and I had a little chat. And he had gotten some information in the mail. And about this program called Community Heart and Soul. And so I did a little run on this last time. Just a little information, I think. I'm not sure what you got in your packets this time. But I have a page that kind of looks like this one. This is probably the most important one of all. Because it really begins to outline the initial steps. We do have a committee together, and we're going to be having our first meeting a week from Thursday. And just to give the committee members a chance to meet each other and talk a little bit. One of the things that I really like about this program is that it is a nationwide kind of a thing, so it's not something just out of the woodwork. It's been going on for some time. And one of the nice pieces of it, and did you, Jacob, is the questionnaire inside? No, okay. One of the things that the people in the community will eventually work on and one of the things that the committee, the core committee will be working on is getting those questionnaires out to get some feedback back from the community in terms of what they need, what they like, what they don't like, and so forth. And that it's really, I think it's well done. And I've kind of joked about this, if I had this form about 25 years ago, I wouldn't be here now. Because I think it's a good opportunity to get the community to take a look at some things. And so the question that I had from some people, why do you want to do this? But the fact of the matter is, communities change. And we've had, as a country, as a nation, as a world, we've had a lot of changes over the last many years. And, you know, I walk through Danforth, or I go in different places, and, you know, sometimes you hear some good things. I was out with 2 people today talking about the summer concert series, and everybody was saying, oh, this is one of the great things we do, but damn it, can you do something about the roads? So everybody has some things in their mind in terms of what they'd like to look at. This process is not going to be a quick one. Now, 2 of the committee members are here tonight, sitting in the room. You have a council member on there, but I need to remind you, or would encourage you that on this committee, she is not a council member. She's a community member, and Amy's on the committee also. But we've got a committee of 6, and it's a broad representation of different people in town. And so it's going to be interesting to see what they get talk about when we get together next week. But I see this, and I don't know, maybe one of the things that helped me a little bit in terms of getting a better understanding of this, for some crazy reason, you know, I was around when we did the bicentennial celebration. And if you go back and look at some of the things we did there's a lot of things that we talked about, there were a lot of pictures, there were a lot of activities, and everybody focused on the past. But I think that we're at a point right now where we need to talk about the future. And just a quick trip down Main Street will show you that. But, you know, again, how many of you have actually ever been down in the woods behind the, across the street from the transfer station, or where the foundation is for one of the first people that lived in this town? If you haven't, when the weather gets nice and the mosquitoes aren't too bad, you may want to take a walk back there, because I want you to think about it. That was kind of what started this whole area. And Pittsfield has kind of emerged. And one of the comments again today was one of the people, we have 2, 3 new families that I have had contact with. And one of the things that they like about this, number 1, is the access to I-95. Number 2, the schools. And number 3, the hospital. But, you know, the world is changing. There's got to be some more things. So this is, I see personally, and talking with some other towns that have done this, they're talking about maybe 2, 3 years to actually go through this. And it's something that doesn't have to happen overnight. You guys did it over in Bucksport. How long did that take, Jake? Do you remember?
It was a number of years.
Yeah, and you know, there'll be a lot of discussions. There'll be the need for money and so forth. One of the things that will happen, and one of the things why you need to take this action tonight, is because one of the first things the committee will do is we'll submit a grant. The grant that the Community Heart and Soul organization gives is $10,000. We can do a match of that, and that's just to kind of get things started. But let's say we wanted to build something new and big. That may or may not be, you may not have to put that in your budget, because you may find groups, organizations, places in the area that are willing to contribute to those. And that's kind of what happened with Dexter. Unfortunately, it made it into a problem because they kind of started right in the middle of the COVID stuff, and a lot of people got scared and they didn't want to go to meetings and so forth. But he said people came out of the woodwork to move the town forward. And that's what I hear. One of my favorite questions to ask is, you know, where do you see Pittsfield 5, 10 years from now? And hopefully, in maybe a couple of years, we'll have kind of a master plan for that. So just going around the table, when I said Pittsfield, what'd you put down?
Home.
Family.
Home.
Home.
And that's how we.
I put down home, you skipped me.
Yeah, I did that on purpose because I was afraid what you did. But, you know, and one of the things that we're gonna be asked to do as the committee by the coach that's gonna be coming in is, you know, what are your feelings about, what do we see here? You know, somebody didn't say Metropolis Center or anything like that. The home is what we're gonna build this on. So that's, I hope that's my personal goal. As we talk about this with the committee and we get moving, we can make this a really nice home. Somebody came up with a statement, so I think it's on the sign. Pittsfield, a good place to call home. Yeah, I wonder who made that, who came up with it. So anyhow, that's where we are. We're hopefully getting started next week and we will keep you informed. You will see some press. There'll be some things in the paper, but please don't hesitate if you have some questions or concerns. And you know, eventually it'll expand out even more in terms of involving people in the community, but this is a home. And that's why a lot of people come here. It's not necessary it doesn't have to be a big job metropolis. You know, people come here, they live here, you can go to work in Waterville, Bangor. You know, it doesn't have to be here. But, you know, the other side of the coin is I'm probably one of the oldest people in the room. And if you have a concept, or if you look at with the exception of Henry, if you take a look at the population in the community, it is an older population, and we have special needs that somebody who's moving in and has some young children. And so we have to take those into consideration, and those will be the kinds of discussion that we're gonna have. So.
Careful.
Any questions?
I was getting worried there.
That's one of the things about being old.
I have a question. You said, I'm assuming you're on the committee, Amy, Natalia, who else? You said 6 or 7?
Okay, there's 6 plus me.
6 plus you.
So there's Amy, there's Natalia, there is
Lindsay.
Lindsay Holstrom, and then there's 3 men. There is Tom Burton. There is a person that lives down the street from me who's worked in town, but recently moved here. David LeBrew, I think is, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And then there's a young gentleman that works over at CMOMI. And he's kind of new to the area, but he's kind of representing maybe the younger class a little bit. So that's basically the board committee. But that committee will, I'm sure, in talking with Kat, her name is Catherine, but she goes by Kat. In talking with Kat, that as discussions start and people become a little bit more enthusiastic about what's going to kind of be going on here, we'll have some other people coming on board.
And in the resolution, it talks about meeting spaces and stuff. Do you need the meeting space here? Have you been in touch with the town, or are you scheduling it somewhere else? Do you have that covered, or?
Well, right now we're meeting, well, the meeting next week is at the library. MCI has offered us basically room and board. That if we want to meet over there, and if we want to meet over at supper time or something, that's a possibility to avoid here.
Okay.
I would like to see us meet in as many different places as possible to get to kind of, for those of you that are still relatively new, to get a sense of, you know, I mean, you never know what you're gonna find lying along the side of the road, like logs and stuff like that. But there's other things that we can learn about the community as well. And especially for the younger people that are on the committee.
And can you share that thing that you said was very important, because I don't see anything that looks like that in the packet that we got.
Okay.
Pass out something. Did we pass out something?
So the last meeting, yeah.
I'm getting,
Oh, you weren't here.
We can send it out.
thank you.
I got one right here for you.
And part of Pittsfield has a lot of networking that they've built over the last few years. Actually, like almost
Yeah.
10 years. Thank you. Almost 10 years, and so I think it'd be a missed opportunity not to incorporate the networking that they have for outreach
Yeah.
as well as talent that's there. And the Main Street program reads very similar to this, but more structured around community development, but I think it asks a little bit more from the community as a whole for businesses, the town support and the community buy-in. But all of these programs seem very similar in their goal to build community.
Yeah, and I think this is a good time because we will be working together.
Yeah, and it might, I don't know, all those programs working together might provide an opportunity to kind of like leverage some of the grant money that might be coming in, be able to match it with other programs
Yep.
and you might be able to get more people involved at different scales and different levels and industries in town by incorporating some of the other programming as well.
Yep.
And then we still have the grant that the library applied for kind of hanging out there. I don't know if that's come through yet or not.
I don't think so, but no, well, a lot of this will come together, and I think timing of this is very good, right? Because there is a lot of discussion, so we'll open up a lot of different discussions that maybe one or two groups working alone would not have, so.
Yeah, but I think your idea of doing like surveys of people in town definitely overlaps with the work that they would be doing with the library grant. And so that is like an important connection to make, because it'll make it, if that grant comes through, you'll have more resources to kind of pair with it and might also help with if there's a match required, having that to match, if they'll allow you to match grant to grant. Sometimes they won't, but it might alleviate some of the financial stuff for the town to do.
Yeah, well, I was a little curious about this organization, this group, but they are nationwide. And they've got a lot of successes, and sometimes it's better to build upon some of these positive experiences. I know you and I many moons ago talked about doing something, but this didn't work, so.
So Jan, before you sit down, I'd like to open up the audience, if anyone has any questions or comments on this. All right, now let's go to the council. Questions or comments? Compliments?
I would say if you're interested, check out their website,
Yes.
Jane gave that information, and I learned a ton. Really got excited. I think we're gonna do some great things. I know it's gonna take a while, but yeah, check out their website if you want more information, learn a lot about it, hear some stories of success.
Good point, the website is excellent.
Yeah, tons of information.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jane.
So, very well, if we're all done with the comment, since we are ready to vote, so all those in favor of resolution 24-44, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, resolution 24-44 passes. Jan, thank you very much for the presentation and your actions, greatly appreciate it. Nicole, let's move on to resolution 24-45, please.
Resolution authorizing the town manager and grant administrator to file a grant application for the congressionally directed funding CDS program for the Honeywell and Pennsylvania backup route water main in the amount of $2,815,000.
I look for a motion from the council, please.
Make a motion that we revise resolution 2445
Yes, to the,
to
get the amount.
$3,452,000.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments, clarification? If you want to give us just a quick sentence why we're doing the revision there, please.
Just because, we were provided a different number from Walter than what we had originally got. So, and Annalise is on the call with us, tonight to provide some background.
Yep, absolutely. So we will move on the resolution 2445 with the number as stated. With that in place, Annalise, if you would, please, I'll give you the floor if you want to kind of flesh it out a little bit for us before I go for questions and comments from the audience and the council, please.
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Thanks.
Okay, great. So just to give you a little bit of background, you all know that we're doing the sewer project on Honeywell, and that was approved last year. We're in the process of designing it. And then the congressional delegated spending opportunity came up again this year, and I was approached the town with, do we want to try to get the water line done? And the initial, number that I had was from an old, grant application that we did quite a few years ago. That we actually got a loan, but no grant for, that included the water line, basically where the sewer stopped and all the way down towards the Chimbro facility. Did not include the water line on Honeywell itself. And we recently did all the survey work there for the sewer line and discovered that the water line is basically right in the same place as the sewer. And during construction of the sewer, we would likely damage that. And also it's in poor shape and undersized for part of the way. So it just made sense to include that full stretch where we would be into it with the sewer work. And that's why the numbers changed. It was a kind of close to the council meeting deadline when I sent over the first cost estimate. And then I updated it when I discovered that it really didn't make sense not to try. I don't know how many more years there'll be the CDS money that we can apply for. We were pretty successful with Birchwood and getting the water funded through that program. I'm in hopes that this will be successful. But as I've mentioned before, if we don't try, we won't get anything. The CDS program does require a 20% match, which, you know, is obviously a concern to the town. So what we'd like to do is try to get the grant and then try to find funding for the match. The match cannot be federal, and so it would have to be something that would be either a drinking water SRF program or something private bank or whatever the town chose to do with that. So we, you know, these CDS grants we do as a service to the communities that we're working in. And they've been quite successful at getting some very large projects funded, which this would be a pretty large project. And the reason that the water line is important to do between Davis and Detroit and headed towards the Chimbro facility is that's all 2-inch galvanized and is probably the worst water line in the town. In the other direction where we're doing the Honeywell sewer, I did provide a figure that shows this. That area, like I say, we're going to be damaging the water line when we're doing the sewer work, so it just makes sense. I could provide a lot of reasons why these are good projects, just because the infrastructure is old, but also having this different way to feed the town is pretty vital, and this would give us another avenue to feed the town. And I'd be happy to provide more information or answer any questions.
Stand by, Annalise, a little bit of technical difficulties over here.
Oh, yeah. I can hear you all.
Lost our communications.
Yeah, I'm pushing it into the water. Yeah.
It's screen.
It did.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna do that.
Just a minute.
Just wait till we get it back on. So, we'll have an audience next question, then we'll have comments. All set?
All set.
All right, thank you for bailing me out there, Jacob. So, Annalise, just to make sure you're all set, willing to take questions if we have any?
Yes, did you hear everything I said? It was hard for me to tell what happened at the end of it.
I pulled out the plug for the camera in the front here and that speaker, but we can still hear you through the television set.
Okay, all right.
All right, so I will open up to the audience. Anyone have any questions or comments concerning this resolution? Very well, I will close to public input. Council, questions or comments, please. Go ahead, Jason.
I just want to make sure, so in your revised resolution, Jacob, up top, you say in the amount of 3.45 million. Down below, you say 4.315.
That's the full project, with the 80%. That we would apply for the CDS for is at 3.4.
Okay,
So it's 3.4 plus the 20% of the town, which is 863, gets you
the 4.3, okay, all right, thanks.
Just for the record, the approval of this resolution does not commit us to the 863,000. It's just to commit us to, apply for the grant, correct?
It's just allowed, correct?
And we have.
But if we assume we get it, we need to fund 863,000.
Or we can not take the grant, but given what, Annalisa told us and, the need for it, it'd behoove the council to give some serious thought.
But yeah, so, I mean, water and sewer is supposed to fund it by itself, you know, supposed to, users are supposed to pay enough to fund and maintain that system, so the town wouldn't take out a loan or anything like that. If anything, you would have to increase rates or take a loan.
Right.
Rates to fund that loan. It wouldn't be like a tax increase, it would be a water and sewer billing rate increase
That's correct.
to fund that amount.
Right, I did a quick check on the payment of that, assuming like if we were able to get drinking water SRF money, I have no guarantee for that at all, but just to give you an idea, it would be somewhere between $56,000 and $60,000 a year, and if you divided that by all the users, it might be like somewhere around $50 per user per year. I'm not saying that's the route. That would be like if you got absolutely no more grant. An 80% grant for the town is a very, very good grant, as you know. But I think it's attainable, but we have to do some more work to try to get more funding if we can. And we do that as a service from working in the town. So you're not obligating you to accept this.
Right, but worst case scenario would be, like you said, $50 a user.
Approximately, based on these rough numbers for the grant application.
Not the end of the world for the amount of money you're getting,
Right.
right? Okay,
My question is, what's the alternative?
there is
Right.
a much
I mean-
larger water and sewer bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always a lot of needs.
Is there some of this project that already has funds committed? You said that the sewer project had already started being designed and you discovered the water, so are there already funds that are committed in the sewer?
Yes, the sewer's already borrowing from Clean Water SRF, and those loan applications were submitted last year and fully approved, and we're underway. And I think it just made sense while this grant opportunity came up to consider doing the water and the sewer at the same time. Now that we know that the sewer and the water are so close together that it would be difficult to do anything but that.
So the 863,000 is in addition to the sewer funding, or would it be?
Correct. No, it's an addition. The sewer funding was already approved, so it's not in this resolution. This is just the water side of things.
Anything else,
The
council?
sewer,
Go ahead, Annalise, please.
I was just gonna say the sewer was already approved.
Council? Anything else? All right, very well. Hearing none, I sense we're ready to vote. All those in favor of resolution 24-45 as amended, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 24-45 passes. Annalise, thank you very much for your time on this.
Oh, yes, no problem, and thanks for letting me do it by Zoom tonight. I appreciate it. Have a good
No
evening.
worries, no worries. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
All right, Nicole, let's wrap up, please, with resolution 24-46.
Resolution authorizing the town manager and grant administrator to file applications to foundations for grant funding for community events and activities during 2027.
I'll look for a motion from the council, please.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2446.
Second.
All right, thank you very much. So with that, I will move right to the audience. The information in the packet's fairly self-explanatory. Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Very well, I will close the public input. Council, questions or comments on resolution 24-46? Very well, here and none, I sense we are ready to vote. All those in favor of resolution 24-46, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 24-46 passes. So that will take us to number 10, discussion items, and I will look for public comment. Anyone in the audience has any items they wish to discuss, or questions they need to ask, or comments that they would like to give, or any compliments for any particular council they'd like to make? Yes, Catherine.
Yes, Catherine Rose, Grant Administrator. I wanted to report that the recycling committee is back in form, reorganized with 4 members. We're looking for additional members. They're very enthusiastic about the reuse building, working on recycling again and publicizing it for all of our new residents, as well as working on climate change. There is a grant coming up in fall, which would provide $50,000 to the town, no match at this point, in which they would be interested in applying for that. So there'll be several steps they have to go through with a forum and everything to collect information. It's a 4 to 5 month process. There are also some EPA grants, which Donnie and I have found for education that will be coming up in fall. And there is a waste diversion grant that will be coming up in fall, which will be looking at food waste, which is very heavy, to try to take that out of the waste stream, to reduce our costs at the landfill, as well as to boost our recycling rate and save the environment. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Catherine. Good information. Anyone else in the audience has anything they would like to bring up? Very well, I will start with the council, and ladies first, Natalia.
I don't
Please.
have any comments this evening. Thank
Okay,
you.
very well. Heather?
I have a couple comments. Can we revisit the theater and listing that for sale? Insurance issue notwithstanding, it's still a liability to the town, and we need to dispose of that property. And I believe that's one of the things that we stated in January, was like a priority for the year. I'd also like to get that list back on again and kind of deliver it and see where we are on some of the items that were mentioned by counselors. Jacob, do you have an update on the dog issue on Main Street, if that's addressed, is maybe any progress in that?
Russell has addressed it. I do not know where it stands right now, though, but we can certainly follow up.
Okay.
He's very familiar with. the-
Heather, what is that? I'm not gonna.
There was a resident that was walking their dogs, and there's a property that has several dogs that aren't particularly well gated, fenced. And there was an issue with being able to walk by without being like impressed by the number of dogs, I guess. And then, do you have an update on the Webb Road property? We're coming up on the anniversary of the judgment and the agreement for that, but I guess there was an issue.
Russell's been working with a family member of the individual who's in jail. From my understanding, there has been some effort done out there, but I'm not sure. I do not know where it stands exactly.
Yeah, the effort, I don't know if that's why I would
Okay.
it, but there's lots of stuff and somebody's in and out of there a lot, 'cause the property is like,
Okay.
so
I'll follow up with
people are
Russell.
around.
I'll ask Russell about that.
Thank you. And happy spring, everyone. It actually feels like spring.
Yeah,
All right.
all right, thanks. Craig?
No comment this evening.
Oh, come on.
Tapped out.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I'll go back around.
I can reiterate my name if you don't want.
No, it's okay. I'll come back around though. Eric?
Yeah, I just have the same interest that Heather does in the property on the West Road. I mean, I think to say there was effort is saying that me breathing right now is taking a lot of effort. I mean, I'm not, I feel duped, honestly, at this point, that we've given the second time, and I remember when we had that vote, I was not in favor for that, I still voted. And it was fine, but we gave them a lot of time to do this, and assistance, and really taxpayer money, and boy, they got a lot of work to do before May, so. We were gonna lift road posters and all kinds of stuff, I remember, right, Donnie? So, I think we need to. Excuses need to end at some point, actually, to happen, so.
Okay.
My estimate is for Donnie, actually, so our roads are taking an absolute beating. Like, it can't rain anymore if it tried. There's a lot of roads in bad shape just because of the amount of water. Is there anything to do? Is there a different type patch material we can use? I'm just looking for some creative ideas to make these things last. This whole climate change thing, I mean, I don't know if I believe in that totally, but there's things, the climate is changing, right? The weather's changed. And there's gonna be more rain, probably a little bit cooler temperatures. I don't know what the change is gonna be, but I feel like we're living in a lot of wet all the time.
Yeah, and one of the things, Eric, is you got a guy, if you could ask any engineer, I'm not an engineer, I don't build roads. But every engineer that you talk to, everybody does roads, the three things that basically are gonna control how your road's gonna come. Water, water, and water. And one of the biggest things, I don't know if you know this, but, Jerry, our foreman, used to work for the state, but he is an ace in the hole. If you guys wanna go take a look at a building road, go out to the table. He rebuilt that road, went out there this spring, he just touched it up today, just a little bit with a grader, got down below the frost line, and it allows the water to pour out the sides, so it goes into the ditch. And probably one of the best built roads we've had in 3 or 4 years, that he's done with that. We're gonna do a little bit with the, stinker road. But the biggest things with our roads is we gotta cut our shoulders, you see our shoulders are higher, and the water's in the road.
Right.
Heavy traffic, a lot of overweight trucks are coming back and forth. We can try to alleviate a problem on the Johnson Flat Road, we hauled some gravel on the paved part, about a month ago. And, we go out there today and it'll swallow the school bus, the school district is. The problem with it is, again, is we gotta do some ditching, that's commitment. And that's why I think it's important, and I hear you guys saying about a paving plan. I can do a paving plan for you, but we've got infrastructure to do first. And $100,000, just so you're aware, I got priced the other day, and you're talking about maybe 2,800 feet of road is what $100,000 is gonna do today. So you're gonna do just a little bit over a half a mile of road. So money isn't gonna go very far. So we definitely need to improve on our infrastructure. Some of our roads, we know Lansing down there by the school is bad. Why waste, $35,000-$40,000 to put 5/8 inch coat on it when it's clay? You can walk down there today. I did today, there's water coming out of the road. You can actually see the whole road moving around your feet. That's how bad it is. Water, sewer, all of us is an ace in the hole too. They're going around making sure that our water infrastructure and our sewer infrastructure is good before we start putting money into roads, so we're not paving them and digging them back up. On that note, been informed by the state, Jacob, myself, been informed by the state. We got very little money this year to do paving with $100,000. The state's gonna do the top of head of Peltoma. There's going to be a little piece there from the cemetery down to the back gate of the airport, the old runway. Good project to think about doing some paving. So some short areas. Madawaska is getting done from Pittsfield all the way to Route 2. You're getting the Phillips Corner Road done. We've got some commitments, which Madawaska can be done. It's great because we're doing our other end of Waverly. So we're gonna try to match into everything to make things more efficient. In the past, we have kind of piecemealed everything and put it together. But again, can't gonna do a paving plan, we can do outreach, but at $100,000 a year, it's almost, until we can get the infrastructure. Go out and look at your roads in West Pittsfield. Go look at the roads that got ditched, the Beans Corner and stuff, and how they're holding up. We need to make that bit of a commitment before we start spending millions of dollars on what we have.
Great. I'm thinking
Another
more.
form your tax is $4,000 for that's 18 yards. And I told Jacob, I know there's been some heartburn about that Johnson Flat Road. It's like 3 or 4 people that pay taxes on that road out there. That road's horrible, but if somebody calls on that road, we got 24 hours to rectify it. If somebody wrecks their car out, they'll be filing insurance claims against the town because we're not doing something on that road. I just looked back in some of the records, which weren't very good the other day, looking through some of the file, I told Jacob we spent about $35,000 to $40,000 just on coal patch on the Johnson Flat. That's crazy. I could have for $30,000, I could put it back to gravel, and we could have been grading it, saving us a ton of money, and we could save that money and put it in the pavement. So, we definitely have a plan, we got some plans for infrastructure, some culverts, again, bear with us.
Right.
For
Are there like Howard Road is
that's horrible.
wicked bad.
If you look at, I mean, I just got my March expense report from Public Works. I was at my house the other night, I got it, Jacob sent it to me, and I fell right over backwards. I had an anxiety attack. They had $11,000 left of motor vehicle maintenance, with at least that to do on 3 vehicles right now for the year. Watching my general supplies for the gravel and stuff. But yes, I have an idea for, end of the Powers where it's paved, or I guess it's paved, it looks like it's paved, but.
Well, that's what my point is. At some point, you better reclaim it and grade it.
That's what I'm saying, is I've got 200 yards of gravel sitting, that's being processed, 1.5 inches, that's being processed over the Snowlands. That we're gonna take care of that, there's no pavement really left there, we're just gonna turn it back to dirt, and we're gonna grade it. There's no sense of spending the type of money we're spending on coal patch. We're spending $20,000-$30,000 on coal patch that's gone 2 days later.
I say, it doesn't stay, does it? It doesn't-
And we've got some actually pretty good stuff that we've got up there now that actually is better than we've ever had. It's the same stuff that the state's using now. It's a better mix, but again, you're paying, $400 or $500 more for a wheel load of it, so. It doesn't help when people want to cross 55, 60, 70 miles an hour. That section that we talked about that we rebuilt with Clinton. That road is great to go out there and look at the log trucks that are pounding across that, and then you got the farm trucks that were pounding across the other day. They were pounding everything out of the holes right into the ditch. So.
Well, I cleaned up my lawn on Chester and I put everything. I did, I was like.
You can have it back. Yeah, thank you.
Putting it all back where it looked like it came from.
Like a puzzle, huh?
Yeah.
You know, and it's growing pains, same way we had, before you guys go up and look where we dumped some snow by the Pinnacle. I had a panic attack on there, we got 3 new guys that are plowing, and you go up there and I'm seriously, drive by and look at all the curving.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd that all come from? Because, again, you've got some curving that's old stuff, it don't take much to get it on, it's gone. Is it really worth us spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on curving? Probably not. But yeah, we're gonna have a plan here, it's tough, we're doing what we can, I know that, Russell, you see the damage, I know that, I go up to Dunkin' Donuts, and so they'll jam a bunch of us, some holes at the other end of the plaza. We've asked the guy to put some gravel in, bring them up within an inch and then put a little coal patch on them, but they don't. I don't know.
That's
We got-
terrible there, yeah.
And that's the same thing, it's water is what's damaging our roads, and you're right, our winters are getting wetter.
Yeah.
You freeze the ditch, if you don't got deep enough ditches and they freeze, where's the water in this thing? Right on the roads, yeah.
That's it.
What's that? Jason? All set? No, just a couple quick things. It's encouraging to see the insurance on the theater come back in again, and I will reiterate what Heather already mentioned. I think we need to reimagine that building on the market again. Whatever project was in the works, I've heard nothing, and I think we need to start looking at it on a piece by piece basis. So that's my opinion. As for the properties needing attention, there were 3 that I noted, and you'll probably know which ones I'm talking about, between Powers Road on Route 2 down to right before Higgins and down to Dyer Court, three right along there. So I hate to put that on to our CEO, but we had, as a council, had mentioned some time ago that let's start getting serious and put teeth into it and have a full-time position. So I'm very glad we were able to budget that. I'm very glad we have a young man that is willing to do a lot of undesirable type of work and being put in some difficult situations. So, we as a council need to give him absolute support, whatever needs to be done to get done, because these have taken a long time to get to where they are. It's not gonna be overnight. AKA, look at the Webb Road, plus there's one up, I think, on Lincoln Street, that area that's been a eyesore for, I think, probably since my first iteration as a council here, so it's been quite a while. So just want to mention those couple things, and I'd like to close this evening. Earlene Frost had passed away recently. Her husband had passed prior. They were probably two of the nicest people you could ever meet in this town. Not just because they're from this town, they were just really good, wholesome, down to earth people, and they're gonna be greatly missed. And my condolences to Jason and Natalia for their loss in the family. So I hope that helps heal just a little bit. So with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion we adjourn.